I would ask you to take a seat, please. Hello, good morning and welcome to the press conference for the 109th Millrose Games in New York City, and it will take place at the Mecca of indoor track, the Armory in Washington Heights. Without further ado though, allow me to introduce the President of the Armory Foundation and the President of the Millrose Games, Dr. Norbert Sander.
Thank you very much, Ian, and I want to welcome everyone here today. We have a great turnout. We're going to have a terrific track meet. I want to acknowledge, of course, our title sponsorship of the Millrose Games, the New York Roadrunner, New York Roadrunner Millrose Games. It's our 109th year, 104 years at Madison Square Garden, 5 years now at the Armory. We're going to have a meet with performances, I think everyone would agree, as good as ever in the entire 109-year history of the Millrose Games. I'd like to acknowledge also our media sponsor, USA Track and Field. This will be televised live from 4 to 6 o'clock on Saturday on NBC Sports Network, and it should be a very good production. I'd like to also tell you there are going to be over 1,000 athletes in the Millrose Games. The pinnacle of the Millrose Games are our elite professional athletes, and this is a terrific year for everyone. This is the Olympic year, the road to Rio, and it's really an occasion for us to celebrate that. But we would also, at the Armory and at the Millrose Games, like to pause. This meet is a standalone meet, as it has been for 109 years. If you win at the Millrose Games, you've won something that will stay with you for the rest of your life wherever you go. And we look at it that way. It's a tremendous event. Ray Flynn, our meet director, has put together a wonderful fields, very competitive. We're going to have some of the best results, I think, in some events that we've ever had. The men's 100-meter mile should be a ferocious competition and a rematch, as we all know from last year. We're looking forward to that. Our high school events are going to be terrific. Paul Robeson High School has a great shot at the 4x200 meter national record. In addition to that, we're going to see Drew Hunter, the recent high school boy, come back and try and even do better than his 3:58 mile that he did just a few weeks ago here. We're lucky to have, and we'll go down the line, the world's greatest athlete here, Theisen-Eaton, terrific athlete, and we're going to have him here at the Millrose, the New York Roadrunner Millrose Games, and what an honor that will be. We're welcoming back also, and we'll talk to her later on, Allison Felix, who I believe close to 15 years ago ran here as a high school student at the Armory in the National Scholastic. She has not won the Millrose yet, but I think she's angling for that this year, so that should be extremely exciting as well. Another event that we've never had before will be the Invictus Dash, which will honor wounded veterans from the armed forces, who served overseas and have come back with significant disabilities, but who compete in track. There'll be a 60-meter dash just before the national anthem to honor them, and it should be really a highlight of the event. A few months ago, we got a call from Ireland, and the person on the line said, "We hear you have this race called the fastest kid on the block, and we'd like to know if we have a competition in Ireland for all the kids, and we pick two, one boy, one girl, will you give us a lane in the race? We'll pay for everything. We'll pay for the plane and the hotels and everything." We said, "Sure, go ahead and do it." So ditto, this afternoon, 2 children are arriving at Kennedy Airport from Ireland, and they've gone through an elimination of thousands and thousands of kids from Dublin to the north of Ireland and to the south, and they'll be running in the fastest kid on the block against our fastest kids. And I would say they better be pretty fast, because New York City has got the best. So we're looking forward to a terrific event. I want to thank everybody from the Armory staff who've made this possible. Here with us today is Rita Finkel, our Chief Operating Officer, who's done a great job with this. Bassett Thompson, our Head of Track and Field and Youth, he's done a wonderful job. Just a word about the Armory before we get to the New York Roadrunner. The The Armory is, at the present time, 102 years old. It's the busiest track and field facility in the world, with thousands of athletes coming there from throughout the United States and Canada. And may I say a word about Canada? Canada is developing a tremendous track and field tradition, and we last year had, I think, close to 10 Canadian universities come and participate here. Last Monday at our youth meet, and by the way, from last Friday night until yesterday, we had over 20,000 runners, mostly high school and youth, compete at the Armory in over 9 track meets. Could you imagine that? It's astounding. It's absolutely astounding. On Monday, 31 students from Toronto, these are middle school students who are in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grades, got on the bus and drove 10 hours to the Armory to be in the meet, competed, got back on the bus and went back to Toronto. 10 hours. And why did they come? They said, we heard this is a magical place. And you know, it is a magical place. It's a fast track, but it's got a tradition that is spectacular. Olympians going back 100 years have competed there, and I think it brings that tradition with you, the crowd, the track, the tradition, to really create tremendous opportunities for success. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the New York Roadrunner 800-meter youth run, which is really a new event for us in the Millrose Games. It's an event which highlights the tremendous impact that the New York Roadrunners has in not only the metropolitan area, but nationwide, in developing youth running and developing fitness for so many youngsters who live particularly in this area. Over 3,000, a pool of over 3,000 students competed to compete in the and qualify for the 800-meter. There'll be 11 boys, 11 girls. It'll be in prime time television. And we have with us today, representing that particular event, and they've qualified out of the 3,000. We have from Brooklyn's PS 107 school, Rosie Coates. Rosie, could you come on up? Right up here, and with her is the other qualifier, the boys qualifier, and he's from PS 9K, also in Brooklyn, and that's Kemoy Phillips. Kemoy, come on up. And I'd like to ask now our partners, the New York Roadrunners, the president of the runners of the New York Roadrunners, Michael Capariso, and Peter Kacha, to come up. And they're accompanied by Chris Wheeler, the head of publicity, and they're going to talk, Mike Capiasso, and they're going to talk a bit about the program and what it means to the Roadrunners and what it means to the community of New York City. So thank you very much. Come right up here, fellas. Come right around.
Let's get on either side.
Good morning. I'm Peter Chacha, President of Events and the Race Director of the TCS New York City Marathon. Welcome to New York City, right? Welcome to the World Comes to Run here, and the World Comes to Run this weekend as well. First of all, we'd like to thank Dr. Sander and Ray Flynn for all that they do for the sport, for the city, and especially Dr. Sander. All year long, every day, he's up at the Armory, pounding away up there, bringing the community together and putting on so many events. If we could just bottle that energy, and I think the world will be a lot better for it. So thanks, Dr. Sander. It's a very special weekend here in New York for the fans, obviously the fans of track and field, but also for our kids. Dr. Sander explained some of the programs that New York Roadrunners puts on. It's very important for us here to get our youth moving. The partnership that we have with the Armory and the sponsorship of the New York Roadrunners Want to Make a Mile is really what it's about for us. It's about our mission, and our mission in New York Roadrunners is to help and inspire people through running, all ages and abilities. And you see that here. We have young kids that are going to be up running the Armory track this weekend. I would like to acknowledge a few folks here too from the New York Roadrunners staff, Paul Ortolano and Ramon Martinez, somewhere in the audience. These guys worked really hard this year putting together the first ever New York Roadrunners Young Runners 800 meter race. That's who Rosie and Kimoy, come on out, are participating in. Kimoy, right, 2:34 qualifying time, and Rosie 2:49 qualifying time for this. So you guys got to watch out because they're right on your heels. So, but it's the top athletes. What it says here, what this story says is the top athletes in our sport and the next generation of athletes coming up. And just to give these kids a chance to do this is really important to us. So we want to thank everybody that worked on that. I also would like to acknowledge Dave Monti, who works with our professional athlete group, recruiting the New York Roadrunner Want to Make a Mile this year. Dave is out there somewhere. So the buzz is off the charts. This year we have so many great athletes. I'm standing with the royalty right here of athletes, and there's a lot more that are coming in to compete. This year from Shannon Roberry defending her title, Molly Huddle, the American record holder of 5,000, also a native of Elmira, New York here. She's got a big fan base up in Elmira. And to the Ali Frazier-like rematch of defending champ Matt Centrowitz and Nick Willis. Last year they ran two of the fastest indoor miles in the world right here at the Want to Make a Mile, and so the pressure is on, guys. You gotta repeat that this year. So, you know, to close, the mile is important to New York Roadrunners. We're proud of our involvement in the New York Roadrunner Want to Make a Mile, and also the New Balance Fifth Avenue Mile. Most of our athletes here have ran that race as well. So we want to say thanks again to Dr. Sander, Ray, David, Paul, and Herman. We wish all the athletes good luck this weekend. Thank you.
Just a few quick, it's always great to follow Peter because he pretty much covers everything, but just a few quick thank yous. We are really proud of our partnership with the Armory. It's a year-round partnership where we get people healthy and fit through running, kids of all ages and abilities, and we think it really talks a lot to what we do and care about in New York City. You'll see some incredible athletes over the next few days. Obviously, a few of them are up here who will be competing. We are thrilled to be a part of this as the title sponsor. And most important, as Peter mentioned, our mission is to help and inspire people through running. The next generation of runners is really critical to us, really important. We thank the team at the Armory for every day making that a dream for a lot of people come true. We're really appreciative of everyone here and looking forward to a tremendous next few days. Thank you.
Michael and Peter, thank you so much. I'd like to report also that we will have a sellout for this meet, which is great news. So thank you for all the support we had, and it's a great tribute to the sport of track and field. I'd like to pass this on now to Ian Brooks for really a crucial part of this press conference, because we really want to get to these terrific athletes and see how they're preparing for this. So thank you very much.
Hello again. So let me just explain how we're going to operate this. I'm going to introduce them in a moment, and then I will tell you that Theisen-Eaton has another engagement to go to, so I'm going to talk to him and separate him so I can release him, and that will be the longest time he'll be separated from his wife, who's sitting next to him. I don't know how they'll cope, but they will. And then we'll go to each of the athletes. I'll ask them one question, and then I'll open it for questions from you from the floor. Okay? And after that, you can go one-on-one in the rooms behind us here, and you can dig deeper than I certainly would. So, let me open up with arguably the world's greatest athlete. I was just looking this morning, as I tend to do, looking at track and field news, and I see this rather handsome young man here. 2015 Man of the Year, Theisen-Eaton. And Ashton, I'm just wondering, when I reflect back on last year's performance, how do you follow that Tarzan-esque exploit of diving over the finish line matting? Is it impossible? Could you do it again?
I think the secret to that was how unexpected it was. So I can't really answer that question because I think in order to follow it up, I just have to surprise myself. I think I was just really lucky to be physically okay after that. I remember landing on my feet somehow on the other side of the deal, looking around like, what just happened? Half a second, and all of a sudden, I'm on my feet. And I don't know how I got hurt, and I'm sure my coach was wiping his brow from sweat or something like that, but who knows? This year I'll be a little bit more careful for sure.
What was the first thing that Brianne said to you when she got to you?
You should have leaned more and you would have won.
Ashton, so your 60-meter hurdles and the long jump,
Yep.
you in good shape?
Yeah, I think so. Earlier this year we went to a meet in North Carolina and I ran the hurdles and did some other events, and we kind of just saw where we were, and I was kind of disappointed with some of my performances, so I went back to training and got after it a little bit. Did the pole vault in the 60 last weekend in Boston, and I'm getting a little bit quicker. So I'm excited to run the hurdles and do the long jump, always against the specialists, because it helps me rise to another level. And I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do, and hopefully being on the path to getting ready for World Indoors, and of course, the big deal at the end of the year.
So Ashton, my understanding is that when you go to Europe and airports, you can't go through airports very easily because the public is really aware of you. Is that the case?
I would say definitely in Europe I get recognized a little bit more so than here in the United States.
Why would that be? I mean, I guess it's a pro sport nation, but isn't that wonderful tribute to European enthusiasm for the sport?
In my opinion, track and field is a sport that's encouraged on young kids when they're younger, or just on young kids when they're in school, and I think it's just a byproduct of that.
And Brianne, a question for you with regard to your husband. He's such a superstar.